All right, good morning, everyone. We're looking at a beautiful sunny morning. You got Fly on the Wall Productions live from the Aired Out podcast. Fly on the Wall Productions, North Main Street, Barrie. Seen and heard everywhere you get your podcasts, on the web at airedoutVT.com. Roger Hill is saying we have a mix of clouds and sun today. Yes, cloudy skies mostly for the afternoon. Slight chance for some rain showers. And looks like daytime highs right around 57 degrees, which I like. 40 tonight, mostly cloudy. Saturday, an improvement here. Mainly cloudy, highs around 59 degrees. No word of any rain on Saturday, which is great news because I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the community. And then on Sunday, Mother's Day, pretty good chance for some rain showers, cloudy skies otherwise. And let's see, daytime highs around, 56 degrees. Let me shut my ringer off here because people are calling me while I'm on the air, which happens all the time, buddy.
The nerve.
It happens all the time.
I don't call you. I usually just send you a text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually, when you send me a text, it is usually quite full of love and sentiment and just
Really?
good thoughts.
It is. You always have to stay positive.
Yes.
Always.
This morning, we may or here's the thing. Let's throw this morning. When I have you on, things get shook up a little bit. This morning, we're going to be positive, but we're also going to very much say it like it is, which you're very good at doing, by the way.
I try.
I'm taking a deep breath, buddy, because
when I walked in the back door, I was already screaming topics.
There's I know you were.
All the way from the back, I'm like, let's talk about this!
There's a couple of dangerous things in the world. One of them is you, and the other thing is you with a microphone in front of you.
And you on the other side antagonizing me.
Well, that's even more dangerous. Go!
I don't think people know that when I'm saying things, you're holding a sign up saying, go!
What are you talking about? Oh, my God. This morning, and I know that you've read the article in the Times Argus about Breakfast Gate.
Yeah. Breakfast Gate.
I want to ask your take on that, but Raylene is mobile this morning.
Mobile.
She is moving around, and she sends me. This is what I wake up to this morning. Was this article which I read, and I just couldn't believe it. Raylene, good morning. You with us? Oh boy, you there?
Did we lose her?
We may have. I'm going to try her back here. It's probably it's probably my phone, which has been acting up lately. But we'll see if we can get her. And I don't know if she's got cell service where she is or not. But
she may be in a dead spot if she's moving around.
Yeah. But man, that article just poked me good.
Well,
this
what's
morning.
your take on that article?
Well, I had my first initial reaction to it, which was not very good. And after I read it again, which I did partially in the car. I didn't say while I was driving. I just said while I was in the car.
Sure.
I began to look at it maybe from a slightly different lens.
Okay.
And I had a conversation this morning with a very good friend of mine who also shed some light on it a little bit. And
Some light like don't air out your dirty laundry in public.
well, so if let's say this to folks who have not yet read this article in the Times Argus, please do. I think we have Raylene
At
with
the
us.
tone.
No, we don't. But what was your take on it, G?
You know, you sent it to me this morning, and I read it, and I was just thinking to myself, first of all, what a shame that council members have to call other council members names. You know?
Right.
We all have opinions, but name calling and identifying somebody as something that's negative is not appropriate on any level.
Right.
And so my take on the whole thing is basically people are not going to hear the issues. They're going to hear and see the infighting.
Yeah.
So the issue gets lost because instead of having a constructive educational conversation in which it can come down to a vote or not come down to a vote, that conversation is much more productive than council people fighting back and forth between them publicly for the teachers and other people to see. So I just think the entire situation derailed when one council member started attacking another. And to me, that was the most disappointing part of the whole topic. The topic wasn't the topic. The most important part of that whole article that I read was that one person was attacking another person. And no matter how the other person tried to de-escalate it,
Right.
it kept coming back to you're wrong instead of saying, well, that's your opinion. So it was disappointing.
Basically, I'm with you. Basically, what this is about was Michael Booten, who is the chair of the school board, last September basically said, I would like to provide breakfast for the teachers.
And I believe was even willing to fund a portion or a piece of it
From his stipend.
from his stipend,
Right.
which what he's basically saying when people say they're doing that or they want to do that, it's because there's a certain passion and a certain need for it.
Right. Is as a kind gesture.
Right.
And they revisited that. Here we are,
Months later.
months
Yep.
and months later, almost a year later. And it got warm with Nancy. Mm-hmm. And
See, I didn't say names. I was behaving.
well, it's in the Times Argus.
I know, but I tried.
You did. You failed. Or I failed. But
Remember, I have a red flag and a yellow flag
I
here, so
know
behave
that.
yourself.
so, I'm not the council, school board directors. I keep saying council. I don't know why. Michael Booten has probably one of the biggest hearts of people that I know. His MO is to do good, to do well for not only Barre City Council, which he is a counselor, but also the school board.
Right.
And he is very passionate about teachers. And I don't want to I'm not speaking for him.
Right.
He can say all these things himself, and I don't think he needs to, because I think people know this about him. He's just a good guy, and for someone to say, "Hey, I'd like to have some breakfast for our teachers in honor of Teacher Appreciation Week,"
Right.
which is a national thing. G.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty great.
Well, the thing is, Michael and I've known Michael a long time, and he goes way back with my daughter. They've been friends for years and years. And Michael and I don't see eye to eye politically. We don't. And we joke about it. I'll say something to him when we're face to face, and he says something back to me, and we both look at each other, and we're razzing each other with our own beliefs, but we understand that, hey, Michael, that's your view. You're wrong. I appreciate that. And hey, G, that's your view. You're right. I appreciate that.
Right.
You notice the way I'm always right and he's always wrong.
I did notice that.
But the best thing about it is that Michael can send me a text and say, hey, how are you? And I know you're not fishing for dirt. You just want to know how I'm doing.
Right.
Okay. And he's a really nice guy. I don't agree on his views. And he knows that because he's been very misguided on his views. Okay. And he's listening right now, probably saying something really mean about me. But I love him because
you're joking. We're having fun.
Well, and not only that, people are entitled to their views, and when your views are strong, that means you have a passion for that topic. You're not just getting into the topic because you want to be an asshole.
Right.
You're getting into the topic because you're passionate about it. And if you can respect other people's passions, then you can have an intellectual conversation.
Yeah.
But when you don't respect the other person's passion for where they stand, then you're the asshole.
Right.
And he always has heard me. We've talked about Donald Trump. We've talked about Biden. We've talked about political things. And we don't agree on a lot of things. But at the end of the day, we shake hands, give each other a hug, and say, hey, it was great to see you. And that's the kind of person you want to have intellectual conversations with.
That's how it was done, like way back when.
Yeah, way back when.
But it's not done like that anymore.
No, because everybody right now is
It's a pissing match.
People are entitled to their opinions. Everybody has an asshole. Everybody has an opinion, okay? But the bottom line is, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean your opinion's right or wrong. It's your opinion.
But the mentality of the people that are walking around saying, you're entitled to have your opinion, and as long
and
as
yet you're wrong.
As long as it's
mine.
Aligned with mine.
Right. And that's what's disappointing. And
I'm not saying everyone's like that.
But it's hard because especially in a small community, a small town like this, we're not talking about Manhattan, we're not talking about California or LA, we're talking about Barry Bond, okay? And in a small town like this, everybody, of course, has an opinion, but you have to respect the other person's opinion. You can't make your opinion the end-all, be-all, because when the bottom line is either it's fact or it's opinion. When it's a fact, you can't quabble over facts. Okay, a fact is a fact. If somebody said the color blue, then you can say he said the color blue.
Yeah.
But if somebody says a color and you say, well, I think he's talking about the color blue, that's your opinion.
Right.
And that doesn't make you right or wrong, in my opinion, because I'm right.
Do you know I've actually said to Lily before driving down the road, Lily, you what a beautiful. No. This is
not yet.
No,
okay.
No. Don't start scaring me. Lily, is it a beautiful day? Yes, we're acknowledging.
Right.
Yes, Dad, it's a beautiful day.
Right.
Do you see some white fluffy clouds up there? I do. Blue sky? I do. Okay, just checking to make sure.
We're on the same page.
We're on the same page.
Do you see that pink elephant? No, I don't. Well, I do.
Yeah.
So now that's your opinion.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is it.
We're on the same page.
Do you know what we should do sometime? I'm not kidding.
Okay.
We should get in the car and do a road trip, and the entire road trip we're live.
Ooh. That could be dangerous.
That would be amazing. But here's the thing. Basically, my conversation this morning off the air about Breakfast Gate.
Mm-hmm. Breakfast Gate
was that that this has nothing to do with the teachers or the staff.
Right.
And it had everything to do with the perception that Michael Boutin was overstepping his boundaries and going beyond his role as a board chair. Mm-hmm. That's what that article
But
was
he's
about.
the board chair. Shouldn't he have something to say? Or does the board chair sit there and keep their mouth shut while everybody else talks? he has equal time and equal say, and what he was saying was not, I want to take thousands of dollars out of such and such to do. He was basically just saying, hey, these teachers need to be appreciated. Why don't we do a service to them? Because let's be honest, they're underpaid. They're underappreciated, okay? They're misrepresented. If they say something to a student because a student asks a question and the parent doesn't like it, they go up on some kind of charges, okay? So these people just go into classroom every day and have to filter what they think and just stick to the topics and do their job and care about the kids despite how everybody else perceives them. And so Michael says, hey, let's take a moment.
They're often parenting too. These teachers.
Oh, they're doing a lot of parenting because they've got to police whether the kids have showered. They got to police whether the kids have bruises.
Yeah.
They got to police whether the kids are getting their homework done or not, or the kids
or
emotionally not developed correctly.
Right.
That's their job.
And maybe, just maybe, at the end of the day, those kids can actually learn something and retain something.
And the teachers go home and put their feet up and they put their head back and go, oh, God, I love this job. Why?
And you know what? Often they go home and they have kids themselves, and they got to deal with this shit continuing until the kids go to bed.
Exactly. And that's why.
And then they can barely stay awake.
Is it that bad to just give them a, hey, we appreciate you once a frickin' year?
Thank you.
Okay.
Once a year. It should be.
It should be all the time.
It should be once a month.
You know, I believe that both teachers and nurses are both underpaid, underappreciated, and do most of the work.
Yeah.
Okay, do most of the work.
Yeah.
Nurses are pretty much the doctors, except that they don't cause something.
Yes.
Okay, and teachers are primarily the parents, 8 hours a day.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so what's so difficult about being able to appreciate, if only for a moment?
Right. And again, once again, just to reiterate, apparently this is not about the breakfast. It is about the process. Mm-hmm. And this is part of the reason why, honestly, I absolutely could never stomach local politics like that. I just couldn't. I couldn't be on a school board because I would stand up and I'd be like, "Are you fucking people this far out of touch?"
Well, that's what
for this to be printed in the Times Argus. This story, in detail. Dave Delcourt did a great job writing it up, but it was a massive article this morning in the Times Argus.
Well, and that's the problem is politics.
All of the time,
politics interferes with common sense because politics is partisan. I'm this way or I'm that way. You know, it's funny because Jed and I we're on either side. We don't pick, well, Biden's right or Trump's right or this or that, blah, 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 even though Michael Booten knows otherwise what I think. Okay. We pick the platforms based on what's best for people, not best for the party.
This is why you need to vote for people who are unwavering in doing that which is right.
And not afraid. And not afraid to be that person that stood out as the quote-unquote bad guy.
No matter the cost, whether financial or political.
Yep. Wow, that was deep. Where'd you get that? You read that?
May 14th is right in front of us, buddy. It's Tuesday.
Yep.
Polls are going to be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yep.
The comments that came in after Raylene dropped that Times Argus link this morning are unbelievable. They're unbelievable. I mean, they just...
Before we go into some other topics that we want to talk about, can I say two things?
Please.
Okay. Last time I was on the show, I made a mention to the fact that...
I want to read one of the comments, though, that came in on this article.
Okay, you want to do that first?
Can I?
Sure. You have my permission.
Do I have your...
You do.
All right.
This time.
The BOE seems rather useless these days, arguing over a well-deserved breakfast by staff instead of actual issues. This is why nothing gets done. It just goes, kind of makes you wonder what she's doing on the board, since she also refuses to do any committee work in over 2 years, has only fostered disruption and animosity. I mean,
I read that comment this morning.
this is such childish, useless time and effort and mental energy that is being used here. So, JD, then why aren't you talking about it on the air then?
We're talking about it because sometimes we need to hear more perspective other than just this perspective of the paper and somebody just writing a comment.
Thank you. There's a ton of comments on here about who cares who the breakfast was, how the breakfast was paid for. Stop being so childish. Start being professional. I mean, the list goes on. There's a ton of comments here on this. All right, I'm all right. I'm okay.
You're going to be okay?
I'm okay. All right.
right.
You were just trying to
two
say.
things. When I was on last time,
Yes.
I made a comment about people living vicariously through other people.
Yes.
And I brought up the topic that somebody had contacted my daughter's friend. And when they spoke to them, they asked questions about me. And I said, if you have a question about me, just ask me. Well, one person contacted me back and said, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I thought we had resolved this. Was it me that you were talking about? And I want to unequivocally say, and I answered him, but I want to tell him again, no, this had nothing to do with that person's conversation and mine. The other person I was talking about contacted me and said, were you talking about me? And I said, yes. I just bluntly said it because I have no shame in telling you straight up, yeah, I was talking about you. I just didn't use your name. So I want that other person, although I told that person, no, I didn't, it wasn't about you, I wanted that person to understand on the air that it was not about that person.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. And the other thing I noticed is, and I'm not getting paid to plug this, people, so don't be like, oh, he's probably getting paid. The other thing I noticed is, have you ever gone into restaurants that are hit and miss? You go in one time and you're like, oh, my God, this was amazing.
Yes.
And then you go in the next time and you're like, what the fuck? What happened?
Yes. Right. I'll never be back.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Jed and I, we like to go out on date nights. We like to go out and get a bite to eat here, there, and everywhere. And we've gone everywhere from Burlington all the way down through Barrie and down lower. And there's a lot of restaurants that are hit and miss. But I have to say one thing, and only because I went there again last night. The Meltdown,
Yeah.
never a miss.
Never.
Never a miss. You know, I went there yesterday. I wasn't feeling 100%. I walked in. Diane was like, hi, gave me a big hug. We sat down. She came and chatted. She didn't press why I wasn't perky or nothing. She just treated me like one of her friends.
Right.
And we left there, and I said to Jed, damn, another good meal.
Yeah.
So I just want people to know that Diane and the Meltdown, amazing. And I love her. And other restaurants around here, good restaurants, sometimes hit, sometimes miss, never a miss there. And I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that that's how I felt, because that's my opinion.
They're not even a presenting sponsor here on the podcast, and you're giving them all this love.
I mean, and you know what
so
it is?
why are they not a sponsor? I mean,
I'll tell you why if you want to know. This has nothing to do with Diane not wanting to contribute or whatever else. Diane and I talked about it last night, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And she said the prices right now for restaurants, like lobster, has gone up.
Yeah.
So what you're used to with the lobster roll is now may go up a little bit because of the prices.
Sure.
The prices of everything, vending machine, all that stuff is gone up. And she says to me, you have no idea how much I love giving back. But when it gets tight,
yeah,
restaurant owners, all of them around here,
all of them.
all of them, if you ask for extra pickles, you have to pay for it because
Yes.
it costs money.
Yes.
And people don't understand, well, last time I was here it was cheaper. Well, last time was a week ago, and inflation has changed. Okay? So it's not that she doesn't want to sponsor. It's where does she get the money when she's trying to keep the prices down, and other restaurants are trying to keep the prices down as low as they can, but still trying to pay their staff, still trying to keep the lights on, and still trying to give you the service you want. Because I can guarantee you, her and other restaurants have no problem lowering the prices, but your quality is going to go down too.
Yes.
So if you want to maintain a standard like she does, where I say it's never a miss.
Yeah.
I think there was one time that my soup had a little too much salt in it, and she immediately went back and fixed it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you want that quality all the time, you're going to have to pay the market price.
Right.
Get over it, people.
Get over it.
That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
Love you, Diane.
We have other things that we want to talk about this morning.
Yes.
What's your take about the national news that the Scouts are and at some point, I don't want to tell everyone right now, at some point, please make sure you're seated because we are going to be talking about the UVM encampment.
Yes.
What's your take about that the Boy Scouts of America are
Scouts of America now.
We're taking the word boy out.
Right.
We're seeing that a lot. We're seeing the words boys taken out, the words girls taken out. We're seeing more of the word gender in, and words like gender inclusive and inclusivity and all of this. We now are changing permanently a fixture that has been in America for well over 100 years now. We can't say Boy Scouts of America. I ask you, G, we've been friends for a long time.
Yep.
You have a lot of thoughts about this and opinions about everything that's going on in the world right now. Not just as a man who is a gay man, but also as just a person who has opinions about this.
Right.
In a different perspective.
Yep.
You, I'm not going to say were, I'm going to say are, an Eagle Scout.
Yes.
You must have an opinion about this.
I do. I have a... Yeah. So, going through Boy Scouts from a very, very young age all the way up through Eagle Scout, which I obtained at the age of 16, which is unheard of because Eagle Scouts are usually about 18, 17 and a half years old.
That's right.
The cutoff is 18 years old. And my brother was going for Eagle Scout, and he was going to be 18, so he was doing a hard push to get his Eagle Scout done.
Yes.
And I wanted to get mine the same time as him, and I was 2 years younger. So I did a hard push on my Eagle Scout project. And after I finished and I became Eagle Scout, I became a member of the Order of the Arrow, which is an elite part of scouting. That's where we start working with the indigenous community, and the scouts get Indian names that mean who they are and stuff like that. So I've been a member of the scouting for years, and let's take out first for anybody who's thinking stupid. Let's take out the whole sexual issues, because there's sexual issues in scouting. There's sexual issues in the Catholic Church. There's sexual issues in the Jewish Church. Let's take that shit off the table for a minute, because I don't want people saying, well, you're a member of the Scouts and you're gay. You must have this and that. Get over that and move past that. Okay, because this is not an issue about sexual issues, okay? Because that's a whole different topic that we can do a 3-hour show on. All right? There are clubs and organizations that are designed for specific reasons. When I have poker night, which, yes, people, we have poker night. Ooh, gambling.
I've been.
Yeah. I mean, it's nickels and dimes. So don't anybody, I don't need.
But it's still money.
Yeah. I just don't need Rachel Johnson saying, "Oh, now he goes ahead and gambles."
Rachel Nelson.
Rachel, yes. Let's get that name right. When we have poker night, it's the guys. Okay? It's the guys, because we're guys. And we bullshit about whatever it is that we want to talk about, and we want to be unfiltered because we're guys. Girls have girls' nights out. Okay, why? Because they're girls, and they like to talk about their boyfriends or their husbands to each other and vent and get information about, well, how do you handle this? Because my husband's a jackass and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So they're all different things. There are health clubs out there that are just for women. Okay? And that club is for women because it's kind of like a sisterhood of people that get together and work out together without being judged, and form a clique where they can get together after hours and have coffee or whatever the case may be. All right?
Yes.
So now we go to the Boy Scouts of America. Okay? And we tell the boys, now those girls get to come into your meetings, go on your camping trips, and get to earn the same badges as you earned and get to be Eagle Scouts. Now, there was the Girl Scouts of America and brownies. I don't see boys running to be a brownie. Okay? The bottom line here is...
Be careful, you're pissing people off.
I don't give a fuck. The bottom line here is it's okay to have a boys' club and a girls' club and a unisex club. Okay? Why? This goes back to, Rachel, here it comes.
Rachel Nelson.
This goes back to you wanting to have a daddy-daughter dance.
Yes.
And you can have that dance and still have other dances for all different groups.
Aha!
Okay? You got the gay clubs that the gay people go to. And you know what? They allow straight people to come in because it's like, that's your choice. People are people. All right? But then you go to the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts of America and you say, well, that's not inclusive. Well, then make a unisex Scouts of America. Okay? But leave certain clubs that have been around for hundreds of years, leave them alone. Because it's almost, and for anybody my age or over that's been in Boy Scouts or has gone camping on these trips where we as guys, we sneak the liquor in at 17 years old and we're sitting in our tent and we're having a sip because we think we're cool and all that because we still don't know everything, but we're a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Okay?
That was
those people
beautifully
my
said.
age will turn around and say, yes, you're taking away an institution that I grew up in, my beliefs, we were taught to be loyal and friendly and kind and obedient and cheerful and thrifty and brave. We were taught that, and all that stuff includes being polite to women and treating women equally and treating friends equally. That's all. The lessons were still there.
Respect.
But
Yeah.
why do you have to now take away a club, an organization, and make it everybody has to be involved?
And I don't think they're taking it away. They're just calling it, what is it, Scouting of America?
Scouting of America. But
Yeah.
now women and girls can join in. And I have nothing against women and I have nothing against men.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we are allowed to have our own little cliques. We are allowed to be an organization. Okay, when you go to the Elks or you go to the Legion or someplace like that, they ask you, do you have a member that's a veteran? If you don't, you can't come in under that.
Yeah.
Because that's their club.
That's the rules.
That doesn't make it wrong. Okay,
Right.
It means that's their club.
Sure.
If I want to start a club at my house and it's only guys, women are going to come knocking on my door saying you're unfair. I don't care. You go out with women and have girls' nights and you do your clubs and you have your exercise classes and stuff. And we don't say anything. Now, I get it. Women have always been suppressed more than men over the years. And so now they're making a stand and they're coming forward. I get that. And they're entitled to equal. Everybody is entitled to equal. But equal doesn't mean invading private organizations and clubs that were designed for specific people. Okay, Boy Scouts of America is to help boys develop, help them become better people.
Couple of comments here. Stacy saying, "Why can't it just be about scouting?" Judy Copping reminding us that the Boy Scouts started in Barrie, Vermont. There's a statue in Depot Square. They started.
And I agree. Why can't it just be scouting? But that's a You've got the Girl Scouts of America, the Boy Scouts of America, and the Scouts of America.
Yeah. Message here to Mike Milo. There is a unisex group in scouting already. It's called Explorers.
Right.
I was a Boy Scout. Quote, do my best for God and my country. Lasting impacts. Do my duty. Yeah. And Barb saying it's funny how these people that say they are being disrespected are disrespecting our traditions.
Right. And that's Bob, 100% kudos to that word. Okay, the word tradition. We have Thanksgiving tradition. Okay, we have Christmas tradition. These are traditions that if you're
All
Jewish,
under
you
attack.
don't. Yeah, if
All
you're
under
Jewish, you
attack.
don't celebrate the Christmas tradition, or you do. That's your option. Okay, but like I said, Boy Scouts of America, it's a place where boys. And let me tell you, when I was a Boy Scout, we had some bullies in school. Okay, we always have bullies in school. Everybody has, which I am against bullying. That's the biggest pet peeve of my life. Okay, but when those bullies came to the Boy Scout meetings,
Yeah.
and they did the activities,
Yeah.
and we went camping, there were no cliques. We all just got along.
Isn't that interesting?
And it's funny because I'm not going to say his last name, but my friend Billy, when we were in Boy Scouts, when we were in school, he always was the tough guy. And he was like, I'm going to kick your ass and all this stuff. And everybody's like, oh, don't piss off Billy, blah, blah, blah. And Billy never really talked to me. And I ignored him because he was an asshole, even though our parents were friends, okay?
Yeah.
But when we went scouting, we always went to the jamborees and the jubilees and stuff like that, and we all hung out as in solidarity.
Yep.
Of being friends, guy friends. That if we saw a girl walk by, we could say, "Hey, look at that rack on her," and not insult one of the girls in our scouting.
Right.
Just like girls talk about guys behind their back.
Sure.
So there has to be a place where you can go and be in solidarity with your group.
Yes.
And not be told, oh, by the way, from now on, hey, we got 17-year-old scouts going camping at Jubilees. Now we're going to take the boys and the girls and send them all camping together at 17. Talk about premarital sex.
Right here. That would have been me. I would have been one of the first to. I hope Sherilyn's not listening. I would have been one of the first.
I'm just saying
to try to sneak into somebody's tent.
You're so worried about the Scoutmasters
Get their
and all
sleeping
these
bag.
people. Yeah, you're worried about the Scoutmasters and all these people doing this sexual, inappropriate stuff to boys.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, girls have their own sexual, inappropriate stuff too.
Yeah.
So now you're putting them in another situation that isn't warranted.
Yeah.
Let's not force more issues. There's already enough issues out there sexually for both boys and girls. I was a gay Boy Scout, okay? And I had to keep it completely in because I had to fit in the group. So I couldn't be me,
Yeah.
okay?
Well, the military too. I mean, there's
everything.
This happens all
so
the time.
now the gay community is coming out. We're being accepted. There's other communities that are being recognized. The indigenous community, the African American community, they're all being recognized. So now when we get together as a group, we're all appreciating each other. That's a good progress. Why do we have to take tradition and twist it instead of saying, you know what? There are some boys and some girls that do want to do scouting together. Let's make a unisex group for them.
Explorers.
The Explorers. Okay? And that's fundamentally the most important thing to me is stop shoving everything down and taking away things and just enhance. It's okay to have a daddy-daughter dance. It's okay to have the Boy Scouts. But for those people who want to broaden, add more stuff.
Like a parent-child dance.
Parent-child dance or Scouts of America. Let's make it not so obvious that we're trying to change things, and let's just change them without taking away tradition. That's my biggest problem with it, because as an Eagle Scout, I spent most of my life trying very hard to respect people. Okay, until recently, over the last few years, and not saying until meaning I don't now, but what I'm saying is last few years, there's been so much issues on how do you identify this person? What do you say? What's appropriate? What's not appropriate? Should I say the word black? Ooh, if I say that, I'm in trouble. Should I say Indian? No, I ride an indigenous motorcycle because I can't say Indian motorcycle, okay? It's like, my God, can we stop working so hard to think, and can we just add more stuff for us to learn, and don't force us to change history, and don't force us to change the political views that we have ourselves. And I'm sorry, Rachel, if I pissed you off, but I am going to say this, Rachel. I'm going to say this as blunt as I can. From the day I started the Rainbow Bridge Community Center.
Are you talking about Rachel Nelson right now?
Yep.
Okay.
From the minute I started the Rainbow Bridge Community Center, you have been up my ass like a bug. Okay? I never met you. I've never seen you. I don't even know what you look like. But you immediately attacked me with the "I'm a mama bear." Okay? Meantime, my entire goal was to unify and bring our community together. Okay? There were things that I did correctly and things that I did incorrectly, and that's called human nature, making mistakes. okay? But I don't even know what you look like, and you ate me for breakfast. You don't know what I was thinking, what I was trying to do, and you never brought your ass into the building to even introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's amazing.
And this is the problem with society is everyone hides behind their computers and behind their phones, and they say whatever they want because they think they're badasses. And in the meantime, they're living vicariously through our lives because they don't have a life of their own. Okay? And so I started the Rainbow Bridge Community Center. It took a different angle. I left due to health reasons. And the angle it took is an angle that's warranted and needed for this community right now, and people are enjoying it, and that's great. I started it. I brought it up. Okay? And so for those people who want to judge, keep judging. Keep judging. But I'm going to keep saying what I feel, because if I say what I feel, you never have to question what I'm thinking. You never have to say, what's his motive? You have a question, ask me. I'll tell you straight up. And if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, because that's not my goal. Okay? But my goal is be honest, be real, leave tradition the way it is, and add things that includes people who want to be included.
I'm not a gay man, but I want to marry you.
Jed's probably listening going,
I don't care.
Shit,
I
we're
don't
going to
give a
go in
shit if
public
he's
and people are
listening.
going to start pointing at
I
him
don't
now.
care. I don't care.
You know what point? I said to Jed, I'm going to start going on Aired Out, and we are talking about possibly doing a show once a month.
Yeah.
Where I'm on all the time. So those of you who love me, you'll hear me more. Those of you who hate me, shut it off.
Right.
Okay. But we're talking, and Jed says, oh my God. He says, we're going to start going into town and people are going to start pointing. There's that guy. And I says, please point. Please point.
Yes.
And Jed said, you know what? Whether they do, whether they don't, I still love you and I'm proud of you. And that's really all that matters.
Have you? Would you consider running for some kind of?
I don't think so.
Mayor?
I don't think so.
Mayor.
No, I like Tom Lozon. I like Tom. I think Tom is fair. I think Tom is very intelligent. I don't agree with all his views. And guess what? That's okay. You don't have to agree with everyone's views to support them.
Yeah.
Okay, I have people who look at me and say, oh, you shouldn't have said that on the air, but I love you.
Right.
And so that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree. But I think out of the past history, I like what Tom Lozon's done. And I don't think there's anything in Barrie or Montpelier area that Tom Lozon won't support if it's for the better of the community.
Yeah.
And if he has to find the money to do it, he will.
His priorities are just
community.
I mean, they're what they should be. They're what they should be. And I don't want to speak for Tom.
No, but you know, when I started the
Rainbow, he knows what he's doing.
When I started the Rainbow Bridge Community Center, Tom came in to see the place, and he was speaking on behalf of him and his wife Karen, and he was looking around and he was impressed. And I said to him, Tom, we have some financial issues. We need some help. Blah blah blah. And he sat down with me on his time, instead of being up doing accounting and stuff. And he sat down with me for an hour with Christine Hellcrest, and he taught and educated me on things that I needed to do. Okay? I met with other people on the council. I'm not going to say names. Can I? No, I won't. That came in, said, oh, it looks beautiful, lovely. Oh, and you need funding. Wow, wow, wow. Without any ideas or suggestions. So I have a lot of respect for him and his wife, Karen. I've known them for a long time. My daughter knew their kids. So I have nothing but, and I'm not going to run against him unless he starts fucking up. That's right, Tom. I said it.
I don't think that's going to happen. Oh my God. Yeah, man. I was just back to this whole scouting thing and having rules and so on and so forth and traditions, and that so many traditions are under attack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the fuck's going on with this world. I don't know what this wave is that's overcoming so many sectors.
You know, my husband calls it a pendulum. And he's right. The pendulum swings way left, then the pendulum swings way right.
Yeah.
And he says to me, eventually it'll find its middle ground. And God bless him for that thought process.
Yeah. It's
not finding its middle ground. That's what's frustrating me. It swings all the way to one way, and it stays there until our society is fucked up,
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, we're fucked up. We start swinging the other way until we fuck it up the other way. Okay? Wow. And my biggest concern is, yes, okay, Thanksgiving, we took over Indian land and all this stuff and shame on. I get all that.
Yeah.
I get all that.
So do I.
But when people turn around and say, well, my great-great-great-grandfather was a slave, so I have the right to act this way. No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay? You have the right to be upset with the way your people were treated. 100%.
Yeah.
And you have a right to learn and educate yourself to be better than that now. But to treat other people badly because your great-great-great-grandfather was treated badly isn't fair to us who we didn't do it.
Right.
Okay? So like you said, in a non-disrespectful way, move on. Okay? Because that's how we grow. We learn from the past.
Right.
We do the best now in the present so the future can be better. Okay? That's how I see it. And if anybody disagrees with me, I'm sorry. But again, we talked at the beginning about opinions. And these are my opinions. These aren't facts. These aren't, you all have to go out and do it G's way, although you should. The bottom line is, I'm entitled to an opinion. When I walk down the street and you say, fuck you for what you said, you're just being an asshole.
Yeah.
Because you're not appreciating that I have an opinion and you have an opinion. Okay? And because you like Trump or because you like Biden doesn't make you a bad person. It's because that's your opinion and your views based on what you've been educated on. Whew! And that is the G-spot. I brought this today because of the fact that...
Turn it around so we can see it.
I brought this today because the fact that when I come on here, I like to get on my soapbox. So when I'm done with my soapbox today, you're going to see what I do with my soapbox.
Right.
Okay? So that's that. And we haven't even touched the tents.
Did you say tents?
Tents.
Did you say T word?
The T word. Let me tell you, can I say something about that?
Please.
JD's like, holy shit, he's just taking the whole show. I am.
No.
But people love when I talk because they're like, wow, either they're like, wow, what a smart person, or they say, wow, what an idiot. Let's talk about these tents. There was a big article. I watched it on the news and I watched it on CNN and I even watched Fox News, which don't even start me on that, Michael Booten. But the bottom line is with these tents, people were saying this is all very organized. Organized because everybody has the same tents. Oh my God, when you see the pictures, all the tents on the campuses, especially in Burlington and stuff, all of them were almost identically the same.
Yeah.
And I laughed because I went on Amazon.com and that exact tent is the very first tent on Amazon for $39. So this wasn't organized. This is a bunch of college kids who are too fucking cheap to buy a serious tent and bought the cheapest one out there so they can go sit in the fucking field and protest for something that they don't even really understand. Okay? Because between Gaza and between Israel and stuff, they don't... I don't like the way you're treating the war and this and that. Well, what about the hostages? I mean, they're just doing their thing. And then, we talked about it, JD, they took the tents down and said they won. But what's the real reason they took the tent down?
We got a phone call. Good morning. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know. I haven't been watching the news this week, but I saw that they declared victory because the campus protests worked so well.
Yes.
So that everybody overseas who was fighting, they stopped and they started planting flowers because of the campuses. That was specifically what they said.
Exactly.
The college students spent nights, like 3 or 4 nights outside. They stopped war.
So what you're saying is, let me make sure I understand this correctly. What you're saying is everything in Gaza and everything, the Israeli-Palestinian fight, everything has ended because...
My understanding is that it's absolute peace this week.
Because of UVM.
Yeah.
In the meantime...
specifically UVM.
In the meantime, the Israeli government just said they will do whatever they have to do, even if America doesn't stand behind them to protect their country. And there's still hostages in Gaza that hasn't been released. But I guess they won in Burlington.
Yes.
Yeah, they won in Burlington.
And the reason they won is because they saw the weather forecast is going to be raining for the next 12 days, and they don't want to get their sleeping bags wet.
Maybe. But I think it's really just because people really pay attention to college students when they camp outside.
Oh, yeah.
They do. In the meantime,
It's just the most important thing.
Right. In the meantime, the college students' parents are pissed off because they're paying all this money, and Biden is forgiving school debt loans while the kids are not going to school.
Yep.
So where's the logic there?
Amazing.
If you're talking about government, good luck with logic.
There's never been logic in government. That's the problem, is they're not for the people. They say they want to be voted in to represent their people, and once they get in, all they do is represent their party.
Why do you think
absolutely.
why do you think they didn't declare the students at UVM in this part of this 90 tent encampment? Why do you think they didn't declare victory on Tuesday when the sun was shining and it was the
They hadn't won yet, JD.
They hadn't won yet.
They hadn't won yet.
So is
But
there
they won at the end of the day Thursday or Wednesday
Tuesday.
when it had been
starting to rain.
No, Tuesday was beautiful. They won at the end of the day Wednesday after 8 hours of being in the rain, where Bill says to his tent roommate and buddy Josh, you know, Jesus, man, we've been sitting in this fucking rain for 8 hours, and my sleeping bag is soaking wet. How much longer do we want to do this bullshit?
No, JD, you're a conspiracy theorist. It wasn't like that. It wasn't the rain. It was the war was over.
The war's over.
Right.
It's over.
Because of the UVM.
Because of
It had to
UVM.
be, because it wasn't just UVM. It was all the colleges and all of the disruptions and all of the graduation ceremonies. What says peace in the world more than like interfering with a graduation ceremony at a college?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
What I want to know.
I don't know what else you can do. I don't know what else you would possibly need to do.
Why do we have to have? And last year too, it wasn't just this year. Why is UVM looking for a commencement speaker that is connected to the Palestinians and shit? Why can't we have a commencement speaker
who's going to talk positively about the future of the students?
Yes.
The students in the country they live in.
Be better, do better,
Well,
be a
interesting.
good, just take your degree and your education and do something great for this world.
If you're not happy with the way the
What's that
world
have
is,
to
then
do with
do
having
something positive.
But that doesn't sell newspapers. Not that anybody.
Why do we need a UN ambassador
You know what sells-
to be a fucking commencement
You know what
speaker?
would sell newspapers if we started getting into the actual issues of students camping out and protesting against the issues in our country that are hurting our people.
Wait a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just got a comment saying, "Is this phone call sarcastic or is he being serious?" Please, this is very sarcastic. Okay.
Absolutely sarcasm. I do nothing seriously.
No.
Did people not read the disclaimer at the beginning of this fucking show?
Yes.
People suffer because they take seriously the things the gods made for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is sarcasm in its purest form.
And we're not
It's
trying to
absolutely-
minimize.
It's ridiculous. No, not minimizing at all. You're right. Yeah.
We're not
It's
trying to
absolutely
minimize. What we're
ridiculous.
trying to do is show the ridiculousness or the waste of time, money, effort, and education.
absurd.
And life.
Absurdity.
Okay.
Life. It's
Because
wasting life.
If
Yeah.
somebody was sitting on a campus in a tent saying Roe versus Wade, fuck this abortion issue that's hurting so many people, there are women out there that are hurting themselves trying to get backstreet abortions because of this law that has changed. And because you have Donald Trump who's flipping left and right on 16 weeks, no this, that, and Biden who's flipping left and right. Instead of protesting against the things that are hurting us, they're protesting against things overseas.
Right.
Yeah, and instead of spending money domestically, like our money, we pay taxes and then take that money, and instead of spending it on those same issues that are hurting us here physically in America, they're sending it to every other nation.
Right.
Now, I'm not for all these borders and stuff. I like humanity. I wish we were one human race. We can still maintain our cultures and stuff like that. But I'm an extremist in that regard. But at the very least, we've got government who is pushing. Let's get controversial here, but they're pushing in the last couple of years vaccines on people. They're pushing drugs on people and spending all kinds of money on that. Meanwhile, they're not addressing the actual drugs that are killing people on the streets.
Right.
But let's well, they are killing people in the streets. If you look at the latest.
Well, now
news,
you're going
it's
into
being
a whole
revealed.
new topic. That's another G-Spot show.
Oh, it is a whole new topic, but it's confirmed now. A lot of these vaccines, the makers are confirming now. Yes, okay, these are complications and side effects that we either didn't know about when we pushed it, or we knew about and we didn't tell you about. So there was a lot of deception going on, so they could push that drug, and now but at the same time, we've got people dying from drugs all over the place. Well, and then alcohol is legal, and that kills more people than a lot of these other ones. So it just kills them in a different way, slower.
Come on the air. Come on the air with us sometime.
Come on the air with G-Spot and JD, and let's
you tell me
hash
when.
this out.
You tell me when.
You got
Time and place. I'll be there.
All right, buddy.
I'm always up for talking. Always up for talking.
Thank you so much for your
much.
opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. And peace in the Middle East, because we did it. College campuses did it. So
Yes.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank you to the students of UVM for sacrificing 9 or 10 days in a tent.
$30,000 worth of education, sacrificing that
Right.
to win and plant flowers. So life's good.
I said to Raylene the other day, I think I said to you as well, if Lily was doing that shit, I'd be in the car, and I'd take an airplane if I had to.
Oh, this is hysterical. Go ahead and tell this. This is funny.
I think I already have on the air, but I would fly to that. I'd fly to that tent encampment
Yep.
at whatever school she was at. I would pull her out of that tent by her pinky toe. I don't think I've ever hit Lily. I'm just not that kind of guy.
Well, that's not your thing.
That's just but I would probably give her, even if she was in her 20s, a good solid rap right on the ass.
Oh, now that's it. You got people that are going to attack you for that.
And I would say, you look here, young lady. I'd have her by the ear. If you think that I'm representing you as your father when you're acting like this, I did not raise you that way. I don't know whether she'd have a loan or if I was paying her education, but I would be like, if you think I'm going to put up with this shit for one more, I don't care that you're over 18 years old. Grow the fuck up. Stop acting like this. You're embarrassing your mother and I. This is shameful.
And
you're here to learn. You're here to be a student.
That's exactly it.
Get your goddamn ass back in that dormitory. Smarten up. Start reading your books. Get this tent packed down, and you're fucking grounded when you come home this summer.
And the bottom line is, instead of doing what you're doing, go back to class and get an education and learn.
Yeah,
learn
right.
the appropriateness.
Half
Learn
of these
how
fucking
to
kids, and I say
learn
kids,
how to
I
speak,
say-
how to talk, how to represent yourself in
Right.
a professional manner that people will listen to you.
Half of these fucking kids, like I say kids.
Right.
I don't say young adults because they're not acting adult.
No.
They don't even know what they're fighting for.
Right.
What they're protesting for.
Well, that's the thing. If you ask them what exactly they're protesting for,
fucking no.
listen, I could go miles into this with anti-Semitism and all. I can get into all of that stuff because no matter what your belief is, no matter what your religion, your background, whatever, you're entitled to equal treatment. That's the bottom line. And if somebody's going to school and not feeling safe and feeling threatened because of their religious beliefs or whatever, then that's wrong.
Right.
Okay, but then get an education and learn how to fix or learn how to be part of the solution. Don't be part of the problem.
Right. Did you see this anti-Israel student protester admitting that she doesn't know why she's protesting?
And that's most of the students. It's like, hey, let's get on
It's
board.
time we had a heart-to-heart.
You need to see this. You need to see this. Hang tight here. I got to play this for you because you got to see this. You haven't seen this, G?
No.
Oh my God! Check this out.
And what would you say is the main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU's doing.
Is there something that NYU's doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU's doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free!
I wish I was more educated. I'm not either.
Oh.
I came from Columbia. I was there up at Columbia, and we came down. They said NYU students needed our support. So I came down. I heard there's lots of cops. Some people were saying it was getting dangerous earlier. I'm not sure if that's true, but I wanted to come and show my support.
I wanted to come and show my support. Do you know why NYU is protesting? No.
You want to know what's really funny?
I don't.
I watched a TV show. It's a series I watch, and I'm not going to say what it is because I don't
Please,
believe
just
in
say what it
encouraging.
is.
But
Oh,
I watched a TV show, and there was a bunch of students in college, and the college was being picked on by the administration for their hazing. Okay, their hazing procedures and all this stuff. So I said, okay, fine. So I'm watching it. And one day, because they put such restrictions on the college, you can't do this anymore, you can't do that because of hazing and da-da-da, that all the students got together in this room and did a sit-down. Okay, and there was other students that were in the room. They're like, "What are we doing? We're doing a sit down because," and they're like, "What is that?" Just sit down. So they'd sit down. Other kids would come in. What are we doing? It's a protest. Oh, okay. Just sit down. Don't worry about what it's about. And before you knew it, half the college was sitting down in this room. And one of the kids turned to the other kids and says, "What exactly are we protesting?" The other kid says, "I don't know. It's just everybody sat down, so I sat down." And it's like, wow, now you want us to treat you like young adults when you can't even know what the fuck you're doing to represent something? And that's what's happening now when that chick says, I don't know, do you know why are we here? Well, I don't know, I'm from out of state, but they said that there was a lot of cops here, so I think I'm going to come and I'm going to join it. Oh, okay, sounds cool.
Do you know why we're protesting?
And guess what? On Thursday, we won. You won what? There was no door prizes here, people. What did you win? The war is still happening. There are still hostages. Fucking Israel is still pissed. Oy vey.
How's your blood pressure this morning?
Good.
Is it good?
Yeah, well, thank God we have that new sponsor.
Yes, we do.
Because you and I are talking about doing a G-Spot.
Yeah.
A specific day each month, just one day for 1 hour. And it's going to be called a G-Spot because that's me.
Sure.
And it's going to be on things that we pick that are controversial issues that need to be addressed, whether positive or negative or whatever the case may be. And so I'm in the process of getting a sponsor for that show.
You are?
Yeah. And it's the pill called Pressure X.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with Pressure X.
Yes. And Pressure X is that tiny little puke-colored pill.
Yes.
That you take 3 times a day. It's only $240 a pill, which isn't bad.
That's not bad.
3 times a day. Insurance doesn't cover it for the first 12 months.
Okay.
So you got to lay out of your pocket for the first 12 months that money each day. And at the end of 12 months, if you can prove that your blood pressure has come down, then the insurance will pay for it. Bam!
That's incredible. And what's the new sponsor?
Pressure X.
Pressure X. I'm so glad.
If you
they're
break
with
it
us.
down, it's Press Your X.
Oh,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Sponsored by Pressure X.
We have been we've had fun. We've had laughs.
Yes.
We've also been very serious about very serious topics.
Yes.
How we can do that so quickly, we can go from the North Pole to the South Pole in 30 seconds is beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been like that. You and I.
Yes. Yes.
Getting more serious, I would love to have you on. You would love to be on to talk more about. We're joking around, obviously, talking about Pressure X, but about medical versus mental health.
Yes. Yes. Do we have a couple of minutes to talk about that?
We do, and I just want to preface by saying before we do. We just got a comment here. Have you ever considered yoga?
Depends on the position.
That we will.
Ba-dum-bum.
Did you just say?
I said it.
We will have plenty of laughs.
Yes.
Anytime you're on the air. Sometimes you'll be on the air and all we're going to do is laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I'll attack you. You'll attack me. All in good fun.
Yep.
We'll have a good time. But we'll also talk about serious issues.
Yes.
Issues like bullying. And issues like medical health, which is a fucking disaster everywhere, not just in Vermont.
Right.
And mental health, which is also a disaster.
Right. Go ahead.
We have so many organizations here in Central Vermont, just Central Vermont alone,
Right.
that are trying to chip away at the poor quality of mental health that so many of us have, and to better people, to bring people together, to make them happy, to make them feel wanted, respected, and understood. How many are there? American Legion, VFW, the Elks Lodge, all of these businesses that are in Central Vermont, where you're no matter who you are, you're welcome to come in. You're greeted with open arms. There's bingo. There's the Canadian Club. I mean, there's so much that's going on. All you have to do is glance through our page and see all of the community happenings that Raylene is posting it up.
Right.
It's all about getting together, being together.
But there's another part of the mental health, okay? And that is when your medical treatment is not being addressed in a timely manner, that can affect your mental health.
Go.
And I'm going to give you a perfect example.
Please.
Everybody knows, it's no secret at this point, that I had left the community center because of the fact that I was dealing with some medical issues. I'm not going to discuss my medical issues because it's nobody's business. But
we're talking about physical things here.
Right, physical.
Biological things.
Right.
Got it.
I've always been a happy-go-lucky. I mean, you people hear me on the air and all this stuff, and you see me when I'm out in public, a couple of cocktails, and we have fun and all that. I've always been a happy-go-lucky person, and I'm very fortunate in my marriage. I have a man that I could be the biggest asshole, and he thinks I'm God's gift.
Well, you are. Well, you are.
I am the biggest asshole.
How
yes.
long have you guys been together?
28 years.
28 years.
Yeah. And so the problem is I have now been dealing with this. I left the Rainbow Bridge Community Center not this February that passed, but the February prior. And I did it because I was having some physical issues that were requiring more medical treatment, and I wasn't able to be out and about as much. I had to, doctor's appointments and x-rays and this and the blood work and all that crap that goes on when you're trying to find out what's going on with you. It's been now a year and a half, and I still don't have a diagnosis. And they're starting to throw out words and starting to come up with some ideas, and well, the team is planning this and that, but there's still no diagnosis. And so what that's done to me mentally has brought me down to a level of depression that what's wrong with me? Why can't I get out of bed today? Why am I in the bathroom all day? Why am I in the couch and don't want to go out? That when I have events coming up or something and I have to cook and plan, I have a list of things that I want to buy at the grocery store, and Jed goes to work, and on his way home, he says, "Do you need anything?" And I'm like, "Honey, I am so sorry, but I just didn't have it in me to go out today. Can you please pick up the following things?"
Yeah.
That
I
Jed
think
says,
many people can relate
yeah.
to what you're talking
and Jed
about.
will say to me, "Hey, you want to go down to the Elks and play pool?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then that night he's like, "You ready to go?" And I'm like, "I really don't want to go. I don't want to see people. I joke because I have a shirt that says, I can't people today.
Yeah.
And it's a funny shirt because it's basically, oh, I'm having a bad day. I can't deal with people. But for me, that's real.
Sure.
And it's not because I have a mental health issue. It's because now I have it. So now I'm on an antidepressant to help me get through. And it's not because my life sucks. It's not because my husband's leaving me. It's not because I can't pay bills. It's not because I'm not a good person. It's because I don't know what the fuck is going on with me.
Because medically it hasn't been finalized.
Nothing's been finalized. And the problem that we're having in society today is if they want you to go see an endocrinologist or they want you to go see a gastrointestinal specialist or they want you to go, you make the appointment and the appointment's 4 to 5 months down the road. In the meantime, my body is fucking me up and nobody cares. And that's not good. I have amazing health insurance through my husband's company. We have probably what's considered a Cadillac of health insurance. So it's not like it can't get paid for. It's there's not enough doctors and not enough nurses. And we're being put, oh, you're a new patient, so we're seeing you 6 months out. Where a regular patient gets to see their doctor weekly. And this Thursday, I'm going to see my doctor again. And he said, hey, we're going to take an hour this time. And we're going to sit down and we're going to go through everything. And we're going to talk about what the team has come up with and this and that. Well, that's a year and a half later. And now there are times I sit there on the couch and I say to Jed, I feel like shit. Why can't I just die? Okay. And that's not me. That's not who I am. But when you think like that, and would I do something to harm myself? Absolutely not. But sometimes you just feel like you're done, okay? And then I go online and I look up all the therapists in the area who's available, and I contact them thinking maybe if I sit down and talk to somebody and say my frustrations and in a safe space, but they're not taking new clients, or they're only doing a video call, or they're not in practice anymore. So what do you do when you have these mental health issues and then you feel embarrassed because then you're like, oh my God, if people see me this way, they're going to think that I'm less than, okay? But you don't want to go to the extremes because then you look bad. So then what do? Then you say, you know what? I'm going to have a drink to help knock this down. And so you have a drink and then another drink. And before you know, you need the drink, not want it. And you need it because you didn't get the help you needed. And it's been a year and a half. Now, my journey is coming hopefully to a head where they're going to start sitting down and saying, okay, this is what we need to do. Okay, but I was accused of walking away from the center, just blindly walking away, not caring about it, not whatever. This had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that I needed to be me. I needed to take care of me.
Right.
And a year and a half later, I'm still trying. Okay, so mental health is not just a, hey, you know what, you were born with this, you're bipolar, you're blah, blah, blah. Sometimes mental health is triggered by something that happened outside of your control that has taken you down.
Yes.
And that's a huge concern because the healthcare system, it's not perfect. But in the effect of what it's doing now, it's hurting people who are really, really trying to just be better.
Yeah.
But they can't. Now, does that mean when they give me a diagnosis on Thursday or the following Thursday or whenever they finally decide to put their shit together that I'm going to feel 100% better? No, I'm going to be more upset that I went through this for a year and a half and had no idea what was wrong with me.
Sure.
They kept throwing out diseases after diseases. I was like, oh, my God, I have this. And then they're like, oh, it's not that. It might be this. So I go home. I say to my husband, oh, my God, it might be this. And he's like, all right, we'll deal with it. And then it's not this. Then it could be the C word. Then it could be Crohn's. Then it could be, it's always something. So in the meantime, do they realize what that does to the individual who's going through this, who wants to fix it, who has children and grandchildren and want to be around for them? And then, you know that commercial where the girl she's got a sad face, but she puts a smiley thing in front of her to make it look like, that's what I've been doing. And what was really beautiful was I went to the meltdown last night and Diane knows what I'm going through. And she just gave me a hug and said, hi, honey, come sit. Let's have something to eat. Okay, but everybody else looks at me and they're judging. Oh, he's afraid to go out. He's afraid to this. He's afraid to that. I was never that way.
You're on a fucking camera and microphone right now.
But I'm doing it because I want people to know it's okay to feel that way. Okay, but not to give up. Because if you give up, then they won.
But to your point, this is a year and a half of time, which is a gift. And time is something that we can never take back.
Right.
We can take back a lot of stuff, money, whatever. But this is real time that's gone by in your life that you can't get back.
Right. And it hurts not just me, but family members.
Sure.
Because they feel bad. Oh, I feel bad you're going through this. What can I do to help? Blah, blah, blah. But they have to, when Lee was very sick and she needed to be taken care of, it affects the caregivers too.
We just got a comment. And it weighs heavily on the medical community as well. Their caseloads are huge, and they know it is difficult. It's hard all the way around, and solutions are limited.
And that's the thing. Solutions are limited. So instead of us fighting over if a teacher should get a breakfast, why can't we discuss how we can help other people there are people who never, ever experienced depression in their life. And when it hits them all of a sudden because of circumstances, they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've worked with the mentally challenged. I've worked with many, Lee and I ran group homes and everything else. So I see the signs and I know how that it can get better.
Sure.
But those people who've been always happy and all of a sudden the circumstance comes up, a death in the family or whatever the case may be that affects them, and they go into depression, some of them don't know how to handle that.
Right.
And so they go extreme.
Yep.
Because they think it's over. They think, oh, my life is done or whatever. And that's not the solution. The solution is, yes, there are a lot of caseloads out there. And yes, there's a lot of people with mental health issues. And yes, there are a lot of people with medical issues. And there's not enough doctors, not enough therapists, not enough nurses. I get all that. Okay. But the doctors that when they do see their patient need to say, I know this is frustrating, but we'll work through it. I'll help you. Instead of just saying, well, this is where we're at and I'll see you in 3 months.
Right.
There has to be some kind of sympathy and empathy coming from the doctors and the therapists saying, you're okay.
Yeah.
This may be a bad situation. This may be a good situation, but you're okay and we're going to get through it.
We haven't figured it out, but we will figure it out. And
Let's
in
hope.
the meantime, we're sure that when you leave here and get in your car and drive home, that this is spiraling for you, and this is a roller coaster for you.
Yes.
And it's affecting not only you, but your husband or your wife and your kids and your brothers and sisters,
Right.
and maybe you're having a hard time sleeping at night.
Oh, I don't. I only sleep 2-3 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'll
So
come
what-
into the living room
so
and
what-
my brother comes up and he looks at me and he goes, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm all right." And he knows it's one of those days.
Yeah.
And then next time he'll come up and be like, "Good morning," or I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And I start singing. He goes, "Oh shit, bipolar shit happening here." Now he's gone from down to up and down to.
Well, either that or he's like, oh, Jesus, he's probably heading into the Aired Out podcast.
The bottom line is we like to joke. We like to make comments. We like to get people stirring up and pissed off at us and laugh at us and all that stuff.
Right.
But there are certain things that is not laughable. Okay.
Damn straight.
And what I've been going through, and for the community that does care, I'm working on it, but it's frustrating. And for the community that doesn't care, I don't care. All right? Because I got kids, I got grandkids, I've got a husband, I've got a brother, I've got family, and that's what's important to me. Like you said, time. If they only give me 6 months, then tell me that, but then at least I got 6 months to enjoy time. Okay? If I've got the rest of my life because I'm going to be okay, great, then tell me that so I know. All right? Plus, if I only get 6 months, then I'll charge up Jed's credit card all the way to the max, buy everything I want and do everything I want, and then I'll just fucking die and leave him with the bill. I always believe in at the end of every serious conversation, you should make somebody laugh.
Yes.
Okay? Because
Absolutely.
life is serious, but don't take it too seriously.
I want to, I just want to take a second here and thank Michael Booten for buying me breakfast this morning with his, with his stipend. I mean, he's such a great guy. And
I didn't get shit, and he knew I was coming on. And I
Michael-
even said nice things about him.
Michael, I just
Here he goes.
want to thank you, Michael. I have no idea how much this costs, but the fact that he would bring me breakfast and pay for this cereal with his stipend. It's amazing. I mean, think about it.
Life can only get better.
I mean,
Michael, next time I want breakfast too.
I'm not even a teacher.
I want eggs over easy.
Listen,
Look at you jumping away.
he's appreciating me. I'm not even a teacher, and he went out and got me this breakfast.
Michael, you're our hero.
Thank you, Michael.